Well, hello, my name is Daniel. Sorry for the lack of illumination. Well, here in Mexico, it's 6 a.m. Welcome to the session. I will share you my screen. I believe we can start. That's well. So let's start. Yeah. Well, your account to access to Marcalyc, we will send you in this week. Well, today or the next week, so you can start with the tagging. So, well, first of all, why we are or why Redalyc offered to the editors the access to a tagging XML markup system. Well, it's because in Redalyc we believe that the editors should have the control of their publishment. So first of all, the XML allow us to have, for example, indicators of the process of the different processes of the journal. For example, the authors and their behavior with or in the journal, for example. Also, the XML reduces the time that we can or that you sorry, I have to do something. Sorry. Yeah, the use of the XML can reduce the time that you invest in creating other products or viewers to the same article. So, for example, Marcalyc creates automatically these 5 viewers of the same article, so you don't have to well, create an HTML from another software or from another program. For example, from Windows, or I mean from Word or from InDesign, or whatever. So that's one of the advantages that we can see with the use of the XML. So that's why Redalyc use this technology. This is one of the viewers that Marcalyc creates automatically, so you can consult the whole article with their, for example, titles and the authors, all well, of the components of an article. But that's the main idea of why we are using this technology. For then, Marcalyc is the, as in the name says, markup system, XML JATS, that Redalyc developed for the use of the authors. This is free of cost for the editors, I mean. And that's the, yeah, you can use it in, and also we have these tutorials, the user manual, so you can consult your thoughts about the use of the system. Well, we will log in right. The well, yeah, the direction of Marcalyc, it's marcalyc.redalyc.org. So from this direction, you can log into Marcalyc. Then this is an example account. So, well, let's log in. The first time that you log to Marcalyc, you will see and ask, yeah, and ask. Well, asking you if you prefer to use the PDF of the original of the journal, the original PDF of the journal, or the PDF that Marcalyc generates automatically. It's the first thing that you need to choose when you when you enter to the account for the first time. And well, Marcalyc can create a PDF automatically, create a PDF, so you don't have to create a PDF from another software, or you can use your main PDF of the original PDF of the journal, but in this case you must upload the PDF in Marcalyc. As I said before, this is example journal. That's why we have a lot of issues in the collection of the journal. But obviously, your journal only will have like 2, 3, or maybe 6 issues per year. So, in order to start with the tagging of the journal, you must add a new issue with this button. But Marcalyc shows us the number of issues that are allowed in Marcalyc. This check means that the issue is visible in the home of the journal in Marcalyc, in Redalyc. This other, this check in orange is, before the issue is ready to be online, we in Redalyc do a checking of the content of the article. So when after this checking, the issue is ready to be online in Redalyc. And in progress, they are issues that are already in progress. I mean, you are tagging the articles of this issue already. So well, they are in progress. And add issue allow us to add a new issue so we can start to tag the content of the issue. Also, in the up of the page, we can sync out. It's important to sync out of your account, because if you don't sync out, the next time that you went that you log into Marcalyc, you will see a window, a little box with the error that you already have a session open. So you will have to erase the cookies and cache of the navigator. It's not big deal, but it's a little bit annoying to erase the cookies of the navigator, because sometimes we have another sessions of another sites open, and well, that's why you should always sync out of Marcalyc when you don't want to use it for a while. So to add a new issue, we should select an issue. Here we can add the volume, the issue, for example, volume 6, issue number 2, for example. It's important to use the same volume and issue of the issue. So, the issue that you are going to tagging. So the year is the year of publication of this issue. So for example, 2021. First month and last month, they are the months of the periodicity of the journal. For example, if the journal is published twice a year, we are tagging the second issue this year. We can select the first month, July, and the last month, December. We only are to we only are going to select the last year when the periodicity of the journal uses months of different years. For example, if it's if the first month is November and the last month is February, we can select the last year with, for example, 2022. But as I said before, we only use this or we only select the last year when the issue belongs to 2 years. So in this case, we only are going to select July and December, and the last year, it should be without a year. The sections of the journal in the table of content of the issue, we can see the selections. For example, the sections, for example, in the page, in the main page of the journal. So, for example, here we can add the different names of these sections, or the whole names of the section, the whole sections. For example, section editorial, editorial, and with the check in the right, we can accept this section. Then we can add a new section with a plus, and for example, we can add a new section and accept this section with the check in the right. And then, well, we can continue adding as much sections as the table of content has. So, for example, reviews. If we create a section that we will not to use, we can erase that, or we can close that section with the X in the row. So, type of installment, it's the kind of issue that you are creating in Marcalyc. For example, ordinary, the regular issue that it's published every 6 months, every 4 months, for example. But we can add a special issue, a supplementary issue, or a double issue. So in this case, we are going to select ordinary, for example. Period, it's well, it's not necessary to select the period of the issue. When we select the months of the periodicity, well, it's not in this case, it's not necessary to select the period. Some journals use the seasons of the year in order to, or instead the periodicity, or they use the period, the scholar period, for example, the university. So period, it's not necessary to select. And periodical publication, periodical, in here it should say periodical. Publication, it's the kind of publication when the journal, well, the journal publish the issue in the main page, for example, but as the journal, or as the journal accept new articles, they are published in the same issue that was published before. So that's the meaning of periodical publication. And we can select no or yes if it is the case. Then the licenses, it's the type of Creative Commons license in the case that the journal use this, or the journal use this kind of license. So here we have the different types or combinations of licenses that I have Creative Commons licenses. So here you should select the same license that the journal uses. So in attribution, non-commercial, for example, we can select this license, and Marcalyc automatically pull the license description and the link to the license. The copyright statement is well, this is the structure. This is the structure of the copyright statement, the C of copyright, the copyright folder, for example, the university that published the journal, and and the year of the statement. But neither of these licenses are mandatory. If the journal doesn't have a copyright statement, you should or this box should be in blank. So don't worry about that. Or if the journal doesn't have a Creative Commons license, it should stay as without license. So the copyright holder, it could be the journal, the institution, the publishing institution, or the author of the article, the authors of the article. So here you should write down for example, in this case, in this example. And the copyright year is the year that appears in the copyright statement. So in this way, we can create a new issue for the tagging of the content of this issue. So after selecting or adding all the information of the issue, we should select Save. When you select the Save button, you will see the issue in the collection of the journal. So in this case, I will not add a new issue because there are a lot, and I don't want to add a new issue to this account. So I will close this window, and I have a issue that we can use to this session. Let's see where it is. Yeah, I believe it's this one. So you can edit the information of the issue with this button, edition. It's like a pencil. So when you select this green button, well, you will see the window where you can modify the issue, but this is lasting too much. So yeah, here you can edit the content of the issue. So I'm going to close this window, and it's one of these. Well, I'm going to use, for example, well, obviously you have to use the issue that you are creating. So in order to access to the content of the issue, you will select the number of the issue. For example, 1422, 14.2 for volume 14, issue number 2. So we select the issue, and here you are going to see the sections without content with this text. And in order to in order to create the content of this issue, you should add the new article. So with this button, selecting this button, we can see the window where we can edit the content of the article or the information of the article. Type of article, Usually it's scientific article, but we can add, for example, an editorial, book review, or article review, or another of the different types of articles that Marcalyc recognizes. So in this case, it's scientific article. Article's title, it's what it's there, the title of the article. So we are going to copy and paste the title. The section is the section where the article belongs. In this case, articles. Well, this is in Spanish, but it's editorial and article. And the language. The language is the language of the content of the article. In this case, this article is in Spanish. So I'm going to select Spanish. The article's title must be in the same language that the language of the article. So if the article is in English, the article's title should be the title in the English title. First page and last page belong to the pages that belong to the PDF. So here we can, for example, use the 24 or add the pages of the article, for example, 24 to 20 to 36, 35. Sorry. Electronic paging is this format of page the articles that they don't well, as they are in electronic format, for example, viewers HTML. Some journals don't use anymore. Electronic page. Some journals don't use the traditional serial page, so they change their paging with this type of paging. It's electronic paging. For example, well, it's kind of this paging. So if you use the serial paging, it's not necessary to add the electronic, and if you use electronic, it's not necessary to use the traditional page. So it should be only one of them. Citation style, it's very recommendable to use the citation style. Here we have a list of different styles. You should use the same citation style that the journal use. For example, in this article, it's APA. It's important because Marcalyc recognizes automatically some information in the tagging of the authors in the references. So if you don't select the citation style, Marcalyc will not recognize this information, and well, it's a little bit tedious to select the information manually. So it's important to select the citation style. After selecting the citation style, we can create the article, and you will see this article in the background. But we also have to add or upload the HTML. This HTML, well, we will select upload. This HTML, actually, it's very simple to create. You can create it from Word, for example, or InDesign. We know that these two are or at least in Latin America, we use these two software to create the PDF of the article. I believe it's the same in other regions of the world. So, for example, from Word, I'm going to show you an example. This one. So, from Word, you can archive, save as, and well, it's important to you will save the article as HTML format, but it's necessary to select a specific encoding. So in Word, from from Word, we are going to select save as. Here is in Spanish, but it's the same. It's almost the same way in English. Save as, more options, and here we are going to see the window where we can select the file, sorry, I forget the name. The file, I believe, in where we want to save the article. So type of article, type of, well, the format, it should be web page, HTML or HTML. And here we are going to select the title. I'm not sure if you can see the whole window, so I'm going to show you the whole window. So here we go. Here we are. So in this little window, we're going to select the type, web page, and the title of this HTML always should be index, only index with low caps, and the whole format HTML extension. Sorry. And from tools, and tools, we are going to select the encoding tools, web options, and in the window encoding or codification, I'm not sure which the name of this tab. So we are going to select the encoding Unicode UTF-8. So I'm going to repeat you, tools, web options, encoding, and here we are going to select encode Unicode UTF-8. So, sorry, I don't know what happened. So I will share you again my computer. So, well, HTML, and in this way we can have the HTML of the article. So after create the HTML, we are going to compress it in a zip file, So here we have the HTML and this file. Sorry, I forget the word. But yeah, the zip can have any name. It's not mandatory to have a specific name. Only the HTML should have a specific name. So when we after create this these formats, we are going to select Marcalyc and choose a file, choose a zip file, the choose a zip file button. Here we are going to see the browser of the computer. So we should reach for the, we should look for the zip file. So upload the zip file, and Marcalyc it's going to show us if the zip is correct. So let's wait 1 second. Usually so here we have sorry, what I'm going to yeah, I only want to check something. So after uploading the zip file, we can close this window, and we can close this another window. So, well, after uploading the HTML, we can start with the tagging of the article. But if you choose to select to upload the main or the original PDF of the journal, over second language, you will see another option that says something like original article, where you can upload the PDF, the original PDF of the article. In second language and third language, you can upload the article if you have it with, or if you have the PDF in another language of the article. And featured image is the image that you can see in Redalyc, in the Redalyc web page. This is the featured image, image. It's not mandatory to upload this image, featured image, but if you want to use or to upload this format or this image, it's okay, but it's not mandatory. These are the the characteristics of the image. And after uploading the HTML, we can close this window and start with the tagging of the article. So here we have the new article that we used to add. So, well, for each article, we can edit the information of the article, delete the article, or tag the content of the article. Once we finish the process or the tagging of the article, we can see the viewers or the another products that Marcalyc creates automatically. So we should start with the tagging of the article, selecting the tag button. So let's wait a little bit. Usually, Marcalyc doesn't, or this processing box does not last that long, but I don't know. Maybe it's my internet. So this is well. Marcalyc have 3 wizards that help us to recognize the content of the article, so we don't have to spend that much time tagging the whole article. The first time that you select the tag button of any article, Marcalyc will show you this wizard, inference wizard of the article's content. And well, these are the directions, but we are going to select accept. In accept, Marcalyc will show us this window where we should or we must select the titles of the sections in order to, or so Marcalyc can recognize the content of the article. So we have this box section, section box, and within this section, we have another box. Click to select title. When we click this box, Marcalyc will show us the HTML of the article. The title that we should select is the title of the first section that usually is introduction. So we don't have to copy and paste anything. So we are going to select the introduction title. And when after selecting this title, Marcalyc is going to recognize the text that we are selecting. Sometimes the article does, or yeah, the article does doesn't have the title of the introduction because well, the author didn't create this title. So in this case, we can, or in those cases, we can select at least the first 5 words of the beginning of the first paragraph of the article. For example, in this case, like that. So we are selecting the the titles of the sections. So so Marcalyc can recognize the paragraphs of these sections. So we will start with the introduction title, and then we are going to add a new section. In this new section, Marcalyc will show us this new box, and here we are going to select the next section. It's the section 2. Add a new section. In this new box, we are going to select the 3rd section, and we are going to continue, well, and so on. So sometimes, well, when we have subsections of a section, we are going to select the section, the title of the section, and then we can add a new subsection with this button, add section, add subsection that is within the section box. In this subsection, we are going to add or select the title of the subsection that is 4.1, 4.1. And the section 2 or the section 4 have 2 sections, the 4.1 and the 4.2. It's important, it's very important to select the sections and subsections in the correct order. So within section box, we are going to add a new section, and here we are going to add the 4.2 section. We can add a subsection of the subsection within the subsection box. And it's important that we don't select, for example, the title of another section within the subsection box that do not belong to the subsection box. For example, here we can't select the section 4.2 because the subsection 4.2 belongs to section 4, not to subsection 4.1 box. So I'm going to delete this subsection. So it's important to select the sections and the subsections in the correct order. Then we can add a new section, for example, for the section 5. Add a subsection. If we don't select the correct title of the section, we can select the box again and reselect the correct title of the subsection. This subsection. Add a new subsection. We can add a new subsection. 5.2. Section, and well, the process, it's the same process with the rest of the subsection. So I'm going to add them quickly so we can continue with the training. Number 7, yeah. After select the whole sections, we can select this button, this box, in the bottom of the window. And in this last box, we are going to select at least 5 words of the final paragraph of the final section. The acknowledgement, for example, references or bibliography or annexes or appendixes, they belong to another part of the tagging. So these sections, we will not select them already yet. But so in this last box, we are going to add, after the conclusions or the discussion that usually are the last sections, we are going to select in the last box the 5 words, at least 5 words of the last paragraph of the last sections, conclusions, for example. So here we can select the first and the beginning of the paragraph, the middle of the paragraph, or the last few words of this paragraph. So Marcalyc can recognize that in this paragraph it should stop with the automatically with the recognizing of the article. So after selecting the last box, we are going to select infer. Sometimes you will see that one of the boxes is colored in yellow, and when we select the infer button, here we have a warning that it says that the highlighted box it's not a title of a section. But if you know that it's the correct title, you should select continue. That's it. Well, I'm going to continue. And here we have the, well, Marcalyc. In the right of the window, we have.
Can I ask some questions?
Yes.
Okay, I have 14 of them. Let's start from multi-language. How languages you can support? Like any other. English, Estonian is not an option. Russian, Polish, Lithuanian, and something like this.
Yeah, actually, the language of the article could be in any language. We don't give preferences to the Spanish language. This article is in Spanish because it's the only one I have. I don't have article in another language, but actually we have a Serbian journal that is tagging in Marcalyc, and it's not the language. It's not a problem with tagging.
Okay, about article language formatting. You support bold, you support italic, Unicode, or something else?
Yes, actually, Marcalyc, when we use the automatical recognizing of the content, Marcalyc recognizes the bold, italic, underline, superscript, sorry, and recognize this format automatically, so you don't have to select it again. So I'm looking for an example. Yes, for example, here we have, for example, italics in the article.
One specific thing, issue numbering. You showed simple variation like 86 or 6, but there is bloody old editors who makes brackets, dash, and something like this. How you accept brackets and dash? I can show you screen if you allow.
Yes, sure. But
sorry, I'm into screen, so can be slow, but you cannot start screen share where you other participants in sharing. Something not best, but basically this is dash and brackets. Something not basic character.
Sorry.
Slash. I don't know. I'm not good on English, but
don't worry.
Anything what goes outside 32 characters.
Sorry, I'm not that familiarized with that word.
Okay. Next question about declaring authors. It happens in medical or mathematical things. You got 17 characters, authors, and how you declare? In OAS, we have basic function. You just type authors, system remembers in cache, and you just next time type same authors and it fills. But if you, what about it?
Yeah, with the authors, well, in this tab, articles data, here we have the authors information. You can add as many authors as the article have. And well, the way that we can add the information of an author, it's selecting the box, name box, and the name in the right.
So just copying, not automatization.
Yeah, we don't have to enter the name of the authors, tapping the, well, with the tapping.
Okay, another question, page numbering. Normal Roman Arabic system is 1 to 1,000 and like so. But we have bloody old editors who uses Roman system and negative Roman system, like X to, let me dictate, M X C C C X X X V 111. Can you declare this here?
Yes, you can use the Roman system in the paging of the article. Actually, to Marcalyc doesn't care if the page of the article is in Arabic or in Roman. So you can use.
No, about usability is obvious, but just for register, we can use Roman system.
Yeah, you can use Roman system actually in any of the information of the article or the journal. Some journals use the Roman format to the volume or the issue.
About custom fonts, we are exactly from opposite side of world. So can we somehow attach to your XML our fonts where we made before I was born? We have another languages, we have another signs, and it's not best best situation, but we have this problem, and many linguists still lives on this heritage, and we can't refuse them. So we can do it in XML, HTML, but is there any chance to attach this font to XML? Basic on CNI made font before I was born.
Well, sorry, I believe that I'm not comprehending the
Excuse me, phony.
Don't worry.
Okay, but I don't want to press you. I just want you to say best part, but I need to know what I can mean.
Well, sorry, I didn't understand the question. Could you write down it in the chat of the.
If you you know users, you can send me email. I will reply. I will not overweight with another questions, but I'm not layout master. I just Webber who puts everything into site. So I just want to know some things.
Oh yeah. Well, the idea of this training is that you can know how to use the whole system of the tagging system, and well, maybe, but it's well, it's mandatory to. Well, I believe he leaves, but well, let's wait a few seconds.
Excuse me, my boss called me again, advised to be calm, but really, if you have any explanations, you know my email. If you write, I will answer and make your life more complicated. But anyway, we will know more about system.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if I'm understanding correctly your question, but well, Marcalyc, it's where in order to use Marcalyc or to use the XML, yeah, the tagging of the articles, it should be the whole article. So I'm going to show you how to tag the whole content of the article. It's not only the full text. We can tag the authors, the references, or what the whole content of the article. Well, so, but let's continue with the tagging of the article. We or after use the wizard in the full text, these are the three main parts of an XML: the articles data, references, and the full text. Here with the wizard, Marcalyc recognizes the content of the full text that are the section, and each section is created in a box, in a section box, with the title and the paragraphs of the article. Section 2, and here you should will check that the sections were created correctly. So, well, then we will continue with the articles data, where we can add the content of the metadata of the article. Also, in Marcalyc, we have this box where we have the additional elements that we can add to the article. In this case, with the articles data, this is the information that we can add. But if we select another box, we are going to see that the menu of this toolbar change it. For example, the title. Here in the title in box, we can add new titles. For example, the title in another language. Here in Latin America, it's common to see that the article have the original language article title and a translation to another language. For example, the English language. So after add a new box, we are going to select the language. In this case, it's English. Here in language, we can see the rest of the idioms or languages that we can select. For example, in this case, English. And in order to add the information to the box, we are going to select the English title. It's not necessary to write the information in the box. We are going to select the information or the text in the HTML, and that's it. Marcalyc recognizes the content of the selection automatically. We can continue adding as many languages title or as many titles as the article have. So don't worry about that. Then we have the authors. In the author box, we can add the name, last name of the author, the email. It's the same. We can add the what we should select the content of the email. Then we have the affiliation, the complete affiliation. In the box complete affiliation, we are going to select the whole information that allows us to recognize the affiliation of the author. In this box, we can add the university, the country, for example, if the author is a professor or a researcher. Then we have the institution box. In the institution box, we are going to select the name of the university. And that's it. In the institution, we only are going to select the name of the university. Then we have this box, standardized institution Cielo. You don't have to, well, this box should be in blank because Marcalyc creates automatically XML that is compatible with Cielo. Cielo is another indexer in Latin America. So don't worry about that. This box should be in blank. The country, it's the country of the university. So here we can look for the country, or we can draw down. Spain. Okay. And that's it with the author. Well, if we select the author box, we can add a new affiliation. Sometimes the authors are affiliated to 2 or more affiliations. The author's identifier, we can add a new identifier. For example, the ORCID ID. So Marcalyc creates the prefix of the URL or the link for the ORCID. So you only have to select from 0000 and so on. 0002 example, for example, the ORCID identifier. Also, we can add author notes. The identifier is the number of the author, the number of the author's note. For example, number 1 and paragraph, well, the content of the note. And in the author's note box, we can choose the, well, we usually use the other type of note in this case. And the suffixes. Also, we can change the type of author, for example, compiler, translator, editor. Or if we have the corresponding author, I'm not sure if it's in your countries, it's usually to have a corresponding author, but it's not mandatory. So the article doesn't have a corresponding author, it's not necessary to select. When we select this, when we chose yes in the corresponding author, Marcalyc will add a new box within the author box. And here we can add a new, well, the information of the corresponding author. In the authors box, when we select the authors box, Marcalyc allows us to add a new author with the author button in the toolbar. So we first select the authors box, author in the toolbar, and here we can add a new author. Select the name, last name, email. Well, as she doesn't have an email in this or in the article, because in the HTML we don't see the email of Mercy. It's not mandatory to add the email, so it can be in blank. Complete affiliation, it's the same as in the first author. The same with the institution, the name of the university, and in country, we're going to select the country of the article. Well, from the box authors, we can continue adding as many authors as the article have. It will be 1, 2, 3, or maybe 50, 21, or more. The dates are the dates of the review process of the article. So Marcalyc creates this dates box. So in the first date received, we can add the receipt date, or we are going to choose the date with this button. And here we are going to select the month and the year, and then the day. When we select the day, this calendar, this calendar disappears. Then we are going to select the date accept, choose date, and select the March 28th. So that's it. We can add new dates if the journal publish dates different than the receipt and accept. So in the dates, we're going to select the date button. In the dates box, we're going to select the date button. And here we are going to select the type of date. For example, the publication date. Choose the date, and for example, if this article was published in March 15. Yeah, so that's it. Also, we can change the format of the date. Well, maybe the journal maybe the format of the content of the journal, it's not the same that we used to use. And maybe the journal does not publish the dates, so you can close this window, this box with the X button in the right, also with the editorials, it's not common to add. Well, any journal used to add the dates or publish the dates, so we can close this with this one. The abstracts, Marcalyc recognize them automatically. Well, it recognizes some languages as Spanish, English, and Portuguese, I'm not sure if Russian, for example, or but there are a bunch of languages that Marcalyc recognize automatically with the abstracts. In the case that Marcalyc didn't recognize it correctly or didn't recognize the content of the resume, the abstract, you can reselect. Well, first select the paragraph box and reselect or select the paragraph of the abstract. Something like this. And with the original abstract or abstract in another language box, here we can change the language of this abstract with any of these languages. Then we have the keyword group. Marcalyc used to recognize it correct, this information, the keyword group. So, well, in the case that Marcalyc didn't recognize it correctly, we can, for example, select the keyword box, and in the right of the article, we should select the whole bunch of keywords. Also, the DOI, Marcalyc recognize it correct automatically, so we don't have to select it again. But if Marcalyc didn't recognize it, we can select the articles data tab, the DOI button in the menu of the toolbar, and in the right, in the HTML, we can select the ID of the DOI. Also, in the articles data, we can tab, in the articles data tab, we can add another information like related article, that it means that, well, related article allow us to add, for example, the information of the first part of the article. Maybe if this is the second part of an article, we can create the related article in order to add the information of the first part of the article. Or if this is a erratum, we can add the information of the article that have the erratum. Other links, here you can introduce the link of the articles of the PDF of the article in the web page, or the article. The article. This is the type of article. You can select many types of article, and in the URL you can choose add the link to if the article is you can say indexed in another site. Fundings, if the article have fundings, we can add this information here, selecting the funding button and the funding source. We can add this information. Usually the funding is in the acknowledgements of the article, so you can look for this information in the acknowledgement. The contract number, if the article have a contract. If not, if not, you can delete or close this box. And the beneficiary, it could be the authors, or for example, in this case, the title of the research. And the funding box, or from the funding box, we can change the type of funding. For example, if it's a contract, donation, or a grant. And in the articles data, we can add additional information. For example, in the how to cite, the suggestion of how to cite this article, and in the value box, we can add the content of the site. Yeah, the content of the site. Well, I mean the suggestion of the site. So, Marcalyc has this save button where we can save the changes that we are making. So it's important to save constantly. So, well, as you are tagging the article, it's recommendable to save the content of the article or the process. Then, after finish the tagging of the articles data, we can change the references to the references appendices tab. So here we have a warning because it's mandatory, the tagging of the article's title in the references whose publication type is a journal. So we're going to accept this. I'm going to show you how to add this information in a moment. So this is the second wizard that Marcalyc show us when we accept this wizard. We are going to see this box where we can see the whole references. The whole reference. We are going to work with each reference separately. So we have the source box and the type of publication box. For now, Marcalyc only works or recognize the source and the type of publication of the article when you select with the APA citation type. Well, you can use any citation to the journal, but this wizard only works with the APA format. So, but don't worry, you don't have to change the citation type of the journal that use the journal to APA. Because in this wizard we can select the source of the reference. So the source, the type of publication, we have journal, for example, and in this list we can find the different types of publication that Marcalyc recognizes. In this case, is journal, and the source for a journal is the name of the journal. Then we can continue with the next reference, and we can select the next button to see the next reference. So here we have a book, chapter book chapter. So the source of the book and the source of chapter book, it's the title of the book. So we are going to select the title of the book. And the type of publication, here we are going to select the book chapter. We can select next to select the next source of the reference. Here we have another box, so another book. So the source should be the book. Type of publication, book chapter. And well, it's in each reference we are going to select the source and the type of publication. So we're going to continue with the next references. Here we have a thesis. The source of a thesis is the name of the thesis, the title of the thesis. So here we have the type of publication, thesis. Then we have Congress, convention, conferences, well, all that is related to conferences, conventions, or seminaries, maybe. We are going to select the third option, acts, annals, results, procedures, etc. So the source of this type of publication should be the well, the name of the Congress. In this case, we have a book of resume of abstracts of the Congress. So this is the source. Maybe it could be the acts of the Congress, the results, the procedures, the memories of the Congress. It's the source. And in this last example, we have a website. For the websites, the source is the title of the document that is quoted from the web page. So it's the title of the document. After selecting all the sources and types of publication, we are going to select the finish button. In this tab, these references appendices tab, we have the references, the box of references, which contains all for each individual reference. We have the title of the references and each reference box. So here we have an event identifier. This identifier, well, it should be in blank for the, but it should be in blank, but when the journal use a citation type like Vancouver, IEEE, or a citation type that order the references. The number of the reference is the identifier. In this case, APA does not order the references, so the identifier should be in blank. Complete reference. Here we have, well, the full reference. Then we have this reference in detail box. And here, Marcalyc will recognize the name and the last name of the authors and the year of the publication. So for Redalyc, these are the only information or the whole information that we should add to this reference in detail box. So it's not mandatory to tag the whole, in Redalyc, it's not mandatory to tag the whole information of each reference. For the journal type of publication, when the publication is a journal, it's mandatory to select the article's title. In the toolbar, we can see all the tags that we can add to this reference in detail box. And here we have the article's title. In the case of the journal, so in the right, we should select the title of the article. But if you want to use, well, I'm well, commonly it's the tagging of the references, it's commonly to tag the whole content of the references in this box, reference in detail. In Redalyc, it's not mandatory. Actually, in Marcalyc, it's not mandatory to tag the whole content of the reference, but you can do it. You can tag the whole content of the reference. For example, in reference in detail, you can add the volume of the article that was of this reference, volume 26. In reference in detail, you can select, for example, the issue. Well, this number, it should say issue, but the person who translates this information does choose the number or use the number for the issue. But yeah, number, in this case, number is the issue. Then we can add the paging of the article, the first page and the last page. So we always are going to select the reference in detail box. Last page. And the DOI, we are going to select reference in detail, publications identifier, and the type of publication, we are going to select DOI. And we are going to select from the 10 and so on. Well, and that's how we can tag the full content of an article in the box reference in detail. Then we have the next reference, and here we have the author, the year, the attribution, and if we want to tag the whole content of this reference, we should select reference in detail. In this case, is a book chapter, so we're going to select chapter title in the toolbar, and the editors of this book, we're going to select reference in detail, authors in the toolbar, and we're going to select the information of the editors of this book. And here in the authors box, we are going to select the type of author, editor. And then we have the pages. So we're going to select reference in detail. First page, reference in detail. Last page, New York is the publisher's city or country. And then Peterland is the publisher. And that's it. This is how we can tag the whole content of each reference. But as I said before, it's not mandatory to tag the whole whole content of the tag. We can in Redalyc we can only tag the name, the year, and the attribution. They well, here it should say source. But yeah, they are the only information that we should tag for this for each reference. I'm not going to tag the full content of each reference, only the one that is mandatory for Redalyc. The authors, when we have an institution, Marcalyc recognizes it for, automatically as an institution box, the year, the journal, the name of the authors, year, name of the authors, year, authors, year, and authors, year. So that's it. Then we have the notes. Marcalyc recognizes automatically the notes of the article, but we have to add the notes title at the bottom of the HTML. And when we have the notes button, well, when we have the notes title in the HTML, Marcalyc will recognize automatically the notes. So we can, or you only have to check if the notes are in the correct order. If not, you can add a new note selecting the notes box, note in the toolbar, and we can change the position of the note with this button move. We should select the button and change the position. In these references appendices tab, we can add, for example, the acknowledgements, the article acknowledgements. Also, we can add appendixes or glossaries. We can add them in this box, in this tab, and these references bottom allow well, some journals divide the references in different sections, for example, books and all the books that were cited, journals and all the journals that were cited, and etc. So that's why we can add a new references box. So we're going to save, and they are all the information that we can add to the references appendices box. They go references appendices tab. So we are going to change to the full text tab in order to complete the information that Marcalyc does not recognize automatically, or Marcalyc recognizes it automatically, but sometimes those didn't do it well. Sometimes this is something that our system support is correcting. It's that sometimes when we have one word or one number or one character with format, for example, the number 1 with the superscript format, sometimes Marcalyc does not recognize it correctly and change it with that a point or a dot. So we should correct it. Not it doesn't sometimes happen, but it's not that common. So we can change the format. Then Marcalyc allows us to tag the different elements of an article. For example, the equations. In this case, we have an equation, and sometimes, well, Marcalyc recognize and create this figure, picture, or graph box automatically when recognize an image in the HTML. So, but for the equations, it's we should use the equations element, not the figure, picture, or graph element. So we can close this window, and when we have a paragraph box in blank, we can select the paragraph box again, so we can change the element of this paragraph box. For example, equation. So here we have the equation, and there are two ways in which we can tag the equation, like an image or like an equation, formula, text formula. So in this case, I'm going to add this equation as an image. So I'm going to select image, gallery in the toolbar, and in this window, we can upload an image for the equation. So we can select choose image. In the browser, we are going to look for the equation, the image of the equation, upload. Then we should select insert, or we must select the insert tab and select the image of the equation in this case. Accept, and that's it. We have the image of the equation. In the equation box, we can tag the content of the equation. Here we have the equation editor. So, well, in this menu, we can see all the different types of elements that we can add to an equation. So we will start selecting this little box, and here we can add the information of the equation. Always that we have, well, when we have a box in blank, we should delete it with the suppress button of the board. And we can edit any of these. Well, obviously, this equation doesn't have sense because I'm a mathematician, but we can add the whole content of an equation with using these elements. Okay? So I'm going to cancel because I don't want to add this equation to the tagging. So I'm going to close the window. Equation, well, it's your choice, you choose. Well, you choose if you want to use the image, the equation as an image or an equation tagged. So if you use the equation, you should, as an image, you should close this box. The identifier of the equation is, well, you can choose it. If the equation doesn't have an identifier, it's not mandatory to add them. You can keep it in blank. And it's necessary to delete or close the box where the paragraph of the equation appears. So we're going to close it. Here we have a paragraph that it's divided in two paragraphs, but it should be only one paragraph. So I'm going to close any of them. And then I'm going to select the paragraph, and in the right, or in the HTML, I'm going to select the whole paragraph. Within a paragraph, we also can create an in-text equation. So it's the same as in the equation. We can add an image or tag the equation. In this case, I'm going to tag this equation. It's quickly. So it's a very simple equation. Okay. A minus B. That's the equation. So I'm going to insert the equation, and here we have the equation. I'm going to continue. Here we have a quotation, but Marcalyc recognizes it as a paragraph. So it's not correct that the quotation appears as a paragraph. So I'm going to correct it. Selecting the paragraph box, delete text in the right button, with the button in the right. Then, as I said before, we can change this paragraph into any element when we select the paragraph again. In the toolbar, we have the quotation box. So I'm going to change this paragraph convert this paragraph into a quotation. And then we only are going to select the paragraph of the quotation. It's the same case of with the list. Marcalyc recognizes them as paragraphs, but it's not correct. So we are going to correct this list. So delete all the elements of the list except one. And this one, we are going to delete the text in the box. Select the box paragraph, and in the toolbar, we are going to select the list element. The paragraph will change into a list element, and then we are going to select the list box. Type of list. Well, when we select the list box in the HTML, we are going to select the whole content of the list. Marcalyc will going to select automatically or recognize automatically the order of the list, the type of the list. In this case is order, but we have the other types of list. The items, Marcalyc also recognize them automatically, and that's with the list. When we have a table or chart, Marcalyc in the when we have a table or chart in the HTML, Marcalyc recognizes them and creates automatically the table or chart box. So we only have to fill the identifier, well, check the identifier, the title. If Marcalyc didn't recognize it correctly, we only have to reselect the title. The attribution is of the table and the identifier. We are going to, so we need, or it's mandatory, not mandatory, but it's very recommendable to check the information of the table. Also, we should close the paragraph boxes where the information is where appears again the information. We're going to close this paragraph, the next paragraph, and the last paragraph. So here we have the table box. When we have the table as a text in the HTML, we can select the table, the text table box, and this button, import table, will appear automatically when we select the table, the text table. And when we select this import table button, Marcalyc will recognize the content and create the content of the table. Then we have the image where also it's your choice, your choose how you want to tag the tables or the charts as a text, as a table, as a text table, or as an image. So in this case, I'm going to tag it as a text. So I will delete the image box. And then we have this paragraph, what this the second table. I'm going to delete the boxes where appears again the information of the table. I will select the title, the attribution. This table doesn't have a note, so it's not necessary to add them. And in this case, I'm going to add this table as an image. So I'm going to select the image box, orientation in the toolbar. Original, it's the habitual position of the table, and rotate when the table is very, or it's the height of the table doesn't fit with the dimensions of the PDF, and it's necessary to rotate in horizontal, vertical position. So we can select the rotate. Original, gallery in the toolbar, upload, choose image. We're going to select the image of the table, upload it, insert, and we should select the image of the table and accept. And as we type this table as an image, we are going to delete or close the text table box. Then the last example of the elements that we can have in an article, we have this figure, picture, or image, or graph. Really. Also, if Marcalyc doesn't recognize or creates automatically the figure, picture, or graph box, we can change for example, the graph where appears the information of the figure or the table. We can select the paragraph box delete text, select again the paragraph box and change it with as a figure, picture, or graph box, or as a table or chart box. So we're going to close these boxes because we don't need them. And with the figures, pictures, graphs, maps, for example, we are going to use this figure, picture, or graph box. We are going to check the identifier, the title. If it's not correct, we must reselect this title and the attribution. In the case of this element, we only can tag it as an image. So we are going to select the image box, gallery, upload, choose image, and upload the image of the figure, insert, select the image, and accept. So that's it. And the last step of the tagging is select the section box and any section box, and we are going to create the this internal links. Well, we're going to use this this last wizard that allows us to create automatically the internal links of the references and the citations of the reference. So these are some suggestions before use the wizard. So I'm going to accept it. And when we use this citation inference wizard, Marcalyc will recognize automatically the internal link. This is an internal link where we can see where it's a link between the citation and the reference. Well, actually, this wizard for now only works with the APA citation format, citation type, but we are making we are making the preparations so Marcalyc can recognize this automatically with the whole list of citation types. Well, if your journal of the citation type of the journal it's not APA, you can create these internal links, selecting the citation, and in the books tool we are going to select internal link, and here we have the different elements that where we can create an internal link. For example, reference, we should select the correct reference and in the right accept this internal. So this is the last step to create the internal links of the article or check that they were created correctly. So here we have Marcalyc recognize or creates the internal link for figures, tables, charts, equations, and so on. Sometimes, if there is a difference between the identifier, for example, and the citation, Marcalyc will not recognize it correctly. So we can create the internal link manually selecting the text, internal link in the upper box, and choosing the correct element for the internal. So after checking all the internal links, we are going to save, and then we are going to finish the tagging. When we finish the tagging, we can have errors, so it's mandatory to correct these errors to continue with the finishing of the article, of the tagging. So we're going to save, and Marcalyc show the errors in red. For example, references, appendices, it's in another color than before. So we are going to check if or where is the error. And here it says that the article's title is required for the journal type references. So we are going to select the reference in detail. Article's title, and in the right, we are going to select, in the HTML, we are going to select the correct type. So I'm going to save and finish again. Also, when we finish, we can have warnings that the warnings are internal links that we didn't create. So I'm going to review. And Marcalyc show them with this warning. The reference has no internal link. So we should review if this reference was cited in the article, but if the author didn't cite all the references, we can't create a citation of the reference. So we are going to finish and continue with the finishing of the tagging. But if well, we can, for example, here is the citation of the site that, or of the reference that didn't have internal link. So I'm going to create it quickly. So, well, if we don't have errors or warnings, we can finish. And when we finish, Marcalyc will create automatically the XML and the rest of the products that create automatically. So here we have the intelligent viewer, where we can see the whole information that we tagged before. Well, in this intelligent viewer, we have the internal links, the external links. Marcalyc will show, this viewer will show us the a preview of the web page. Here we can consult the internal links, for example, for the references. Here we have the table that was tagged as a box, as a text, sorry. The image of the table, the figure, and the whole group. Here we can navigate along the sections, references, resume, well, the abstracts. Here we can consult the whole information of the article. Also, we have this mobile viewer. This mobile viewer, well, it's designed to work in a smartphone or a tablet. So the content of the article or the distribution of the text fit with the with the size of the screen. The resumes, references, and the images of the article, and the services in the right of the window. Marcalyc also creates automatically an EPUB PDF. Well, if you choose to use your own PDF, Marcalyc will not create a PDF, but this is one of the designs that Marcalyc of PDF that Marcalyc create automatically. So as you can see, it's the PDF that you can consult in any journal. And the HTML. This is the last format that Marcalyc creates. Well, as you can see, it's and the XML. Well, this is the XML that Marcalyc creates automatically. And I'm going to show you an example. Well, here we have the XML with the tagging of the article, so you can consult it anyway. So, well, that's the tagging of the tagging process in Marcalyc. We can return to the tool for tagging and for the tagging if we recognize an error or found an error in some of the viewers, we can return, correct the error or the mistake, and finish again the tagging. So the error will be correct. And we can return to the table of content of the article, so you can continue adding the rest of the articles. This finish issue, when you finish the tagging of all the articles that belong to the issue, you can finish the issue. So the issue will be validated. Will be reviewed by our and well, we will review the article and then we will publish the article. So you need to tag the 21 the issues that belong to 21 year to the year 21 in order to have the journal visible in Marcalyc, in Redalyc, I mean. After you tag the issues from 2021, the journal will be visible in our collection in Redalyc. So well, so maybe you should, or you can have communication with the evaluation team from Redalyc. Maybe if you have something that it's well, maybe if you have doubts or about the process, about the indexing process, you can write down to, or you can send an email to the well, I'm going to write down in the chat. about the indexing process, you can write. Well, you can send an email with your doubts to evaluación@redalyc.org, and with doubts about the process in Marcalyc, you can send an email to this direction, editores@redalyc.org. So any doubt that you have, well, if you have any doubt, we can resolve it now. So I don't know if you still have doubts about the process, about Redalyc or something. Well, anyway, if when you the access to the journal or the access to Marcalyc, well, we have to create the account. Then we will send you via email. So maybe if you when you start with the process, all the doubts that you will have, you can send them by the email editores, so that the direction is in Marcalyc, or the email of evaluation that I already sent it in the chat. In the chat. So, but I don't know if you have any doubt, you can turn on your microphone. So that's. Well, I will assume that you don't have any doubt. So, so that's it. This is the process. Soon we will contact you via email. So that's it. Thank you for your assistance. And well, see you later.
No, I wanted to say many thanks to you for your presentation, and it was nice to see in practice how the system works, and I see it's quite a value for publishers. So it will be interesting to have a possibility to practice this for ourselves, and hope you have a possibility to contact you by email if you have any questions about how it works.
Yes, you can send any doubt, any question that you have, you can send us an email.
Okay.
So don't worry, we are open to any to resolve any question or doubts or anything.
It's your email personal, or just it's like
no, it's
somebody will answer us.
Well, editores, it's the institutional email.
Okay.
But we have people that every day is attending entering email, so don't worry.
Okay, okay. Okay, later we'll have a question about possibility of export to OJS, but I just think it's another topic after we will test how it works at that layout. So I think we'll be able to discuss later on because it's a priority now to test how it works in typesetting environment, and later on how to publish it in OJS.
Yes, well, when the journal, as soon as the journal will be visible, or as soon as the journal is, well, yeah, it will be visible in the Redalyc, the portal, the Redalyc webpage. You can download the, with this export to OJS button, you can download the products that Marcalyc creates automatically and upload them to the journal.
Okay, okay, sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so have a great weekend. Do you live in Mexico?
Yeah, we live well. Redalyc belongs to Mexico. I'm here, so
quite hot probably now. It's in Mexico.
Sorry.
It is hot in Mexico now. It's mild weather. I mean,
yeah, it's well, for now it's sorry, I'm not sure if I understand the answer, the question.
I just asking you about weather, you know.
The weather.
Watching cold, you know. Do you have snow in Mexico?
No, in Mexico, no weather. It's sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's sunny. It depends on the.
And what do you call cold? What is cold for Mexicans?
Oh, I'm cold like around 10, like between a grade or I don't know, maybe until 10 grades. Well, it depends of the zone of Mexico because in the north, cold it's like 25 grades, but in the center of Mexico, this is like a sunny day. So it depends.
It's plus, yeah, above zero, yes.
Yeah.
25 above zero. Cold.
Well,
yes.
Let's say centigrade. Yeah. We use the.
You use Fahrenheit?
No, we don't use Fahrenheit. We use centigrade. Fahrenheit, I believe it's like I'm not sure the conversion. I can look for the conversion.
Okay, but yeah, it's very cold in Mexico. Yes. So.
Yes. Well, I'm not sure if in Europe it's. I believe in Europe it's colder than in Mexico.
Yes. In Lithuania, for instance, in winter time, I mean, we can sometimes have -20, actually, and yeah.
That's very cold.
It's so rare in Lithuania to have a +25 actually during the summer. It's a rarity. Yeah, so it's also it is very exotic for us I mean, lifestyle of Mexico. So I never been here, just watch some movies. Yeah, so I know a bit.
Yeah, there are some very good movies in Mexico.
Okay, so Frida Kahlo is a very famous one. I know Mexico from there.
Well, the cowboys are more like American, well, from the United States. In Mexico, it's more like rancheros. Or, yeah.
But everybody knows Frida Kahlo is Mexican, actually, despite the fact that she's famous in Europe, but everybody says it's Mexican, no?
Yeah, Mexican. Well, Mexican. Actually, we are not cowboys from, I don't know, maybe the 90s or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, very thank you for your presentation. Muchos gracias, and have a great weekend.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your assistance. Well, Redalyc isn't nothing without the editors and the journals. So I'm glad that you enjoy these presentations. Thank you.
So, to another time, yes. Goodbye.